Hello YouTube, what's going on? This is Shaney 2K with my good friend Kofi. Kofi, say hi.
What's up, everybody?
If you don't know Kofi, he makes videos and is a writer for the Dispatch. That's how I met him. And he was so nice to come on to episode 2 of The Morning After. And if you missed episode 1, we talked about Kyrie Irving potentially leaving, which we'll start off this episode with. A lot of Knicks, it was right after the Knicks draft, and a lot of disdain for that. And a lot more, so go check out that episode. That was with my friend Jacob. So this episode is with Kofi, and the point of The Morning After is basically if you missed everything the day before or things were confusing the day before, I try to make it a little bit less confusing and help you guys out with something you can listen to in the morning with your breakfast. So, to start off, in probably the most shocking move of free agency thus far, Kyrie Irving stays with the Brooklyn Nets. Everyone thought he was going to the Lakers. There was other tweets that were saying that he's basically a Laker, but the other 6 teams were just necessary noise. And Kevin Durant was basically gone, so Kyrie Irving ends up opting in, running it back with the Nets. Kofi, what are your first reactions to Kyrie staying with the Brooklyn?
I mean, my first reaction is I was kind of mad because, you know what I'm saying, right before I had cooked up a good-ass sign and trade idea with Kyrie going to the Mavs, Randall going to the Nets, and Brunson going to the Knicks. But, I mean, I'm all for the Nets' downfall. You know what I'm saying? So
I had a tweet in my drafts for 2 days that was just the most New York Knicks type of tweet. It was like, oh, who runs New York? Bing bong. Like every saying I could say. I hate the Nets. I hate the big 3 that they created, and now the new big 3. Speaking of the new big 3, it's never played together. Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant, if Kyrie's staying, I'm guessing Kevin Durant's staying. Do you disagree with that?
No, I completely agree. I don't think KD's going to leave. I think they'll probably run it back one more year, and it's sad to say. I mean, any year they have those 2 guys, they're still scary.
I'd laugh my ass off if KD left after all that, or if Ben Simmons left. That'd be probably the funniest part of that.
I think KD. I mean, I think a place he would fit really well, if he did leave, would be Phoenix.
Oh yeah,
because they got 2 good complementary guys, but I don't think Chris Paul at this point in his career is the number 1 or number 2 probably on a championship team. I think Booker's probably a 2. I mean, you got Chris Paul, Booker, KD, Bridges. Aiden's probably gone, but if they get a decent center, you even put JaVale in that lineup, like that's a really good fucking team.
I mean, can you imagine a Ayton for KD? Obviously, a pick would have to be thrown by Phoenix. Can you imagine that trade? I mean, it wouldn't. Kevin Durant.
It wouldn't be crazy. There'd have to be a lot of picks, but
it wouldn't be bad for the Nets either. They get a center that they've desperately needed, and Kyrie still has Ben Simmons to play with, and now DeAndre Ayton, who is a pretty good center. And then the Suns.
I mean, that's like a decent playoff team. It's like a 5 seed.
That would just be
that loses in the first or second round.
Yeah, that would just be if KD killed the Nets by himself. Which, honestly, if he requested a trade to Phoenix, low key, I'd gain respect for KD a little bit more. I think that'd be funny as hell. But
I mean, you put KD on the Suns, bro. The West with the healthy Clippers next year and the Warriors, obviously, that's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, but it probably won't happen. But let's get into the stats. I did like the Mavericks and the Knicks, the 3-team trade. I liked that. But let's get into some stats. Since Kyrie and Durant, I guess, but his first year wasn't there, in 2020, that team had 35 wins in the weird bubble season. Made the weird play-in type of the 11 games or whatever. Kyrie didn't play. I made a video on that. I got flamed for it. I remember that day distinctly, and many Kyrie fans just came for my throat. They had 35 wins that year. The next year, 48. The next year, 44, which was this year. But then next year, you have Ben Simmons coming in for his first time playing basketball in 2 years. You got Kevin, and the last time he played basketball, he was humiliated by literally not taking a dunk. Do you remember that? Do you remember that play where Ben Simmons just didn't shoot or whatever? Like he was
Yes,
terrified.
I do. And then he proceeded to, I believe he passed it to, out of all people, Matisse Thybulle.
So you got Ben
Which makes it
Simmons.
even more funny.
You got Ben Simmons coming back.
And he had Trae Young on him, too.
I remember that. That was Ben Simmons literally could have dunked it on him. Trae Young is short. We're actually going to talk about Trae Young in this episode. But you got Ben Simmons coming back to basketball. You got Kevin Durant, who's great as always. And then you got Kyrie Irving, who's most likely, without injury or anything like that, could play an 82-game season. That's not a bad team. I mean, their bench has always been a concern for me. Low-key, you got Joe Harris on the team, Seth Curry. But do I think they're going to compete with the Bucks?
Bro, I forgot about Joe Harris. I forgot he existed.
I had to mention Joe Harris. I love Joe Harris. But
UVA legend.
They're running it back. I hope they make a free agency decision to keep it interesting. Do I think they're going to compete with the likes of the Bucks, the potentially new and improved Bulls, who I think are going to do good next year, the Celtics, who are going to try
new
and
and improved?
Yeah, I think
with who? They don't have any cap space. I mean, Pat Williams will be back.
I think they're going to make something work.
And Lonzo will be back. They'll be all right.
Yeah,
They'll
exactly.
be good.
That's already new and improved. Lonzo's coming back off his injury. Of course,
Lonzo's pretty fucking injury prone if you think about it. Like,
yeah,
he gets hurt a lot.
I never thought about
Dalen Terry, though, I like that pick.
Exactly.
He might not do much as a rookie, but I think it'll be good.
Crazy stat between the big three in Brooklyn: 22 combined All-Star appearances, 14 All-NBA selections. All three of them were Rookie of the Years, and 2 All-Defensive. Now, does that mean literally a thing for this next year? Not really. I just wanted to throw the stat out there because I like funny stats. But do you think it was in Kyrie's best interest to stay, or do you think it would have worked out better with him, LeBron, and potentially AD in Los Angeles?
Him, AD, and LeBron compared to him, Ben Simmons, and KD.
Yeah, and you also got to take chemistry into like as a factor. He's staying with the team for his 4th year, so.
I mean, the thing about Kyrie is everybody knows like he's a team destroyer wherever he goes. But with the Lakers, like the thing is, I don't know how much worse it can get after last year, which is probably the reason why they would take a chance on him, or are one of the only teams that would, and obviously his chemistry with LeBron. But I think it would work somewhat, or I think they'd have a chance to be really, really good. I have no idea with Ben Simmons what his chemistry would be like with Kyrie and KD.
Yeah,
hypothetically, it works really well because he's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, and he doesn't really have to do anything on offense. And he's really good in transition, but in half court, I mean, he doesn't really have to do anything. Set screens pretty much, but
maybe shoot, maybe take layups on Trae Young.
Yeah, that too.
I got no faith in this Nets team.
I think the Nets have a much higher. I think the Nets have a higher floor because, I mean, we saw pretty much without Kyrie for half of the year, and Harden played 30, 40 games for them. I mean, KD put the team on his back. They have a good supporting cast, but the Lakers, there's a scenario where LeBron's hurt, Kyrie's hurt, and AD's hurt. All those dudes are injury prone at this point. So I think the Lakers have a higher ceiling, though, but much lower floor.
I mean, that's totally fair.
Lower floor, not much lower.
I mean, low-key, the Lakers always feel like they got a low floor, except for the bubble. That's enough about Kyrie, though. I mean, if you got any final thoughts to talk about it, but, he's staying, he's opting in. He said it was, I forget exactly the quote, but he said something like, average people make the decision everyone's expecting, but others will make the decision no one's expecting. And no one expected it, but he opted in. It was I don't know. That guy is the Kanye West of the NBA.
I mean, yeah, I definitely see the comparison. Yeah. Kanye's got...
I thought of that today.
He's more proven.
I thought of that today. It was bars. So next I want to get into Miles Bridges testing free agency. Probably my favorite person to hear yelled over commentary. Love Miles Bridges. I mean, he had a great season this year, career season, averaging 20 points per game. He averaged 12 points per game the season before. Like, he made a big jump this year. There's a few teams, like, you had your whole thing you want to get into, but I've heard there's mutual interest with the Pacers, which I think that team would still suck, but it'd be cool to watch. The Pacers are just, I feel like they're irrelevant most of the time, and it sucks for the Pacers. But where do you think Miles Bridges could end up?
The Detroit Pistons is where I think he should end up, and I think he will end up. And that's where I'd also most like to see him, because Cade, Ivy, Miles Bridges, Durin, bro, like, that's a fun-ass team to watch. Like, 2 or 3 years down the line, like, that's a really, really good team, I think. They'll probably have one more lottery pick, and I don't know. I really like that team, and I don't think Charlotte will max the money. He's a Detroit guy. I see him going to Detroit. He's from Michigan. He went to Michigan State for multiple years. He's loved there. He makes, like, Detroit style rap music. I think he's a Piston, and I like that fit much more than the Pacers.
Calling it Detroit style rap, I like that. Can you actually quote one of his infamous lines about toppin' and cheese?
No, I mean, I was going to quote a different line, but I don't want to curse on here, you know what I'm saying?
I already have twice, but it's okay, Kofi. I still love you. No, I think whatever team gets Miles Bridges, if the Knicks got him, I'd be the happiest guy in the building. But whatever team gets Miles Bridges...
that's not happening.
I know. But whatever team
There's been no links, I don't think, and I don't think they'll pay him that much. It's very clear what their plan is. Yeah. We don't know some of it, because I think they're going to make some other moves that we haven't been suggested, but Jalen Brunson is clearly plan A, plan B, and plan C.
That's why I hate New York. But one guy who was totally... I think he was rumored as a number 2 on the draft night behind Jalen Brunson, which I hope they give him a nickname, because, like, I remember Julius Randle would just be called, what was it, like, player number 30 or player... I can't remember if it was 35 or 30 off the top of my head. But remember when
He's 30.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Remember when people would just call him by his number?
Yeah.
That was like a funny day of
Get 30 Twitter. Off my team.
Yeah, exactly. Even though Julius Randle's good. But the next player I want to talk about is DeJounte Murray. Now, this is a weird one I keep seeing all over Twitter and even on, like, accounts that I love, like League Alerts, saying it could happen. So it deserved a shout. DeJounte Murray had his career season this year and had a great season. From his rookie year, averaging like 3 points a game. His sophomore year, averaging 8, not playing. His third year, like, he's averaging 21 points a game. Probably, I mean, it's just a great fit in my opinion. Because Trae Young, he had a rough, like the last time we saw Trae Young on a basketball court, he had a rough time. Like, horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt his abilities, though.
No, yeah, I think, as it's being called, DeJounte, I think it could work. And if you keep John Collins on that team, you still have the lot.
That's what I'm interested in. Like, the Spurs, it kind of looks like they might be trying to go after Wembanyama, because the rumored package was Gallinari and multiple first-round picks. And I don't know why you'd want Gallinari or not try to at least get Collins. Like, it seems like he would fit them well, give them some spacing, and
I mean,
a guy with some interior presence too. But
correct me if I'm wrong, Gallinari is still on a pretty big contract, right?
Yeah, he's making like 20 plus. That's why he matches DeJounte's salary. But the Hawks, I think John Collins probably, I'm not sure, because he's in trade like rumors every offseason, so I kind of think he might just stay. But DeJounte Murray and DeAndre Hunter guarding a team's 2-3, I'd be really excited about having that on my team.
I mean, Trae Young also had a career season alongside. I mean, I guess not actually if you count the bubble season. He went crazy at the end of the season. But I mean, 28.4 points a game, barely away from 10 assists.
Yeah.
Like that's a great pairing. You have a most improved player candidate and Trae Young like on the same basketball court. I mean, I think Atlanta would find a way to mess it up. Everyone knows how I feel about Atlanta. Everyone's seen the 3-1 tweet. It's just like I feel like they'd find a way to mess it up, but I'm here. Like the Knicks, I don't think we're doing anything absolutely absurd this season. I don't think we're gonna have a 2021 season where we made the playoffs shockingly. I think it's gonna be one of those like kind of riding with the team seasons, and we're gonna see what's left for the future. So I love exciting basketball, especially in our conference. So then you got.
I think if I guess right now, like I think they will get Brunson. If I had to guess, I guess they're like a 9-10 seed. I guess they're a playing team.
That's
maybe
fair.
11.
But I don't even I really don't want to see the Knicks be like a second round team. I want to see them get a really good draft pick. Probably
I'd
trade
rather see the Knicks be bad. Second round though, like that'd be a better result than we've seen the last 10 years.
Because Atlanta beat us. I just talked bad about Atlanta. But like I love exciting basketball. So then you got in our conference you got Milwaukee, who just won a championship 2 years ago. Still a really good team. They have Giannis. They'll always be a good team with Giannis. You got the Nets coming back at the big three. You got the Celtics trying to run it back. And then you got DeAndre, which I love that name the more I say it. Like that's
Nets are still a threat. The Bulls too.
The Bulls, I acknowledged them before. I didn't want to say it again, but that's 5 serious teams in the East that are, and some of them in the bottom that we named are one trade or signing away from being in that top 3.
I think even if they lose Bridges, like I could see Charlotte having a pretty solid year, winning record. I could see Detroit making a jump. I could see the Knicks being decent. I don't think they'll be like super good. The highest seed I could see the Knicks next year if everything goes right. It's probably like a 6 seed. There's somebody you have Miami too. The Sixers will be good too.
Oh my gosh!
And
the
Sixers. And the Cavs.
And the dude, the East is loaded. We're not getting the 9 seed.
And Detroit. The Raptors are super young.
And Detroit.
They were like the 5th seed last year.
What about Detroit?
I said Detroit. Detroit could make the play-in.
Dude,
even like
we're gonna be like the
all right.
We're gonna be like the 3rd and the Magic.
No, I think the Magic are still a year away.
Okay. I think they're gonna show flashes this year though. But speaking of a guy coming to New York to make it competitive, he's been in a lot of social media posts. We've seen him in pictures with Jimmy Butler and the Heat squad, but he was with a trainer out there, so that's one thing. But then, today, from the NY Post, a huge headline came out. Don't know why it was so big, but Donovan Mitchell had dinner with Emmanuel Quickley. Now, you can either take this as a grain of salt and say, maybe he was hungry, maybe he just wanted dinner with Emmanuel Quickley, or you can take it as Donovan Mitchell is NY bound, and he's recruiting Aaron Judge on his Instagram story to come to the Mets. It's all about the Mets. This dude, I could totally see Donovan Mitchell in the Knicks jersey. Will it happen? Probably not, because I never get what I want with basketball. But, dude's coming off a 25.9 points per game season. Obviously, the bubble season, that half-fan season, he had his best season. Really good numbers all around for Donovan Mitchell. I don't think he's staying in Utah just because...
I think he's staying in Utah one more year.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to trade him.
I don't know. Maybe just because the trade, but...
I think next year is probably the year they make moves. I don't know about Gobert.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I think Gobert's really good, though.
I do, too, but that's the problem. They don't... Since I feel like Gobert ended the NBA season, it would have been ended anyway with COVID, I just have a weird feeling that him and Donovan Mitchell have not been tight, and there's other people who think the same. I just think Donovan Mitchell, if it's not this year, it's next year. If he's not imagine he gets traded to the Heat.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of time, but I think it's going to be next year.
That's fair. So you, Kofi, you are Leon Rose, okay? Just imagine. You have to send a trade, just a trade package, to the Utah Jazz. What are you sending to try and get Donovan?
Can I be completely honest right now?
Yeah.
I don't think the Knicks are in a position. If I'm Leon Rose, I'm entering a rebuild.
Yeah, but Donovan Mitchell just had dinner with Emmanuel Quickly, man.
I think the Knicks should go young, and I think the 2023 draft they should aim for. But
I mean, you're pretending like Donovan Mitchell's like 30. Dude is only. I don't even. Thank you.
That's true, but
thank you.
They wouldn't take Randall, and I wouldn't want to trade RJ either. That means you got to pay RJ, and then you still need a point guard. It would be so fun. I don't really see a way Donovan Mitchell in New York fits with the current situation they have right now.
Imagine they traded Emmanuel Quickly and a bunch of other. Imagine Emmanuel Quickly was in that trade.
Quickly would have to be.
No, but it'd be so funny.
Like Quickly or Obi has to be in the package.
Like, he's like the sacrificial lamb. Like, he got him here, and then he's like, all right, I'm going to have fun in Utah. Like, the only other thing I can think of that's in Utah is, like, Post Malone. Like, that is probably, from playing in New York from your rookie year to going to Utah, that would probably suck. But, I mean, I hope it happens. Do I think it's, like, I gave ratings on possibilities I saw with Kyrie. Do I think it's likely this year? No. Do I think Donovan Mitchell will end up there by the end of his career? Maybe. I could see it. But kind of to wrap up this episode, a huge move happened. It's weird because I was on the phone with someone yesterday about it, about the resurgence of John Wall and him. We thought he was going to play on the Rockets this season. But John Wall got a buyout from the Rockets, and now it's not officially official, whatever, I don't care. I'm going to talk about it. John Wall is expected to sign with the Los Angeles Clippers. So let's just pretend he already signed. That team, if John Wall can come back, and I said it in my video, if he can come back at 70% of what he was, because in the last 3 years, John Wall has missed 2 full seasons. Now, the thing about that is that I want to bring up about it, because that was a great grammatical sentence. In his season in between, so he missed the 2019-2020 season with the Achilles and all that. He played 2020-2021 and then missed the last season. So he played 40 games in 2020 and 2021. Averaged his third highest points per game with 20.6 of his career. Now, 40 games, small sample size, but John Wall, the Clippers, do you think he can make... I mean, Kawhi and PG, I feel like they've come up short in their time. Kawhi had the big injury, so there's not much that you can really say about that one. But do you think John Wall can make a big enough impact to get them over the hump?
I mean, I had them getting over the hump regardless without him, so I think he can only help. He'll probably sign like a minimum, so if it doesn't work out, it probably won't hurt that much. Reggie Jackson's solid. Paul George can be a primary guy, and so can Kawhi. Those two will have the ball in their hands a lot anyways. But if they can add a real facilitator, that would really help. I think it could work.
I also think
the Clippers are my pick to win it all next year.
That's bold as hell. Sorry, I have a cough. I think the first 10, 15 games, even though he has the whole offseason, I know he was healthy-ish last year. He just sat out. I have a weird feeling they're going to slowly put him in the rotation. Maybe even now, this is just, like, you're allowed to do it, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, correct me. But, like, make him play in a summer league game or two. See how it goes. preseason's going to be big for him, which no one has ever.
It's John Wall, bro. Like,
but it's John Wall who's played.
He's not going to play in a summer league.
No. It's John Wall.
I don't think he'll be on the bench or whatever. He'll probably just play and not play that well to start.
Is John Wall, who I think has played less games than Vince Carter in the last 3 years. I made that stat up, but I think it's right. Like,
he's not playing in a summer league game. He's not agreeing to that.
All right, fine. You know what? Not summer league, whatever. But I think those first 10, 15 games are going to be really slow getting him in. Like, yeah, he might start the first game, and it'd be really funny if they did the whole Kentucky John Wall, and we got to watch him do the Dougie in Los Angeles. I would freak out if they did that, and I hope the Clippers do that, because the Clippers they're cool like that, and I'd be happy with it. But you got to think, Kawhi's come back after an injury. Like, those first 10, 15, 20, 25 games, the Clippers are probably going to start out slow. Kawhi didn't play a full year. Paul George, he's been there. And then you got John Wall, who's played 40 games.
Paul George didn't play that many games returning from injury either. And then he had COVID at the end of the year.
Exactly my point. I think the beginning of that season, they're probably going to be around the 6 seed, 5 seed, 7 seed. Because they're going to start off slow and then skip Bayless.
I mean, that's fine for them.
Exactly. And everyone's
they don't care about seeding, especially what Kawhi does every season.
No, yeah, exactly. So I think they're going to start off slow. Everyone's going to be like, wow, John Wall didn't work out. And then they're going to turn up the last 60.
They also, bro, they have so much depth, bro. Like, They got Reggie Jackson, they got Norm Powell, they got Mann, they got Luke Kennard, they got Robert Covington.
Yep.
They got Zubats.
Yep.
Some other dudes I'm forgetting about.
But there's one last...
Brandon Boston, wait on that breakout.
How's he going to break out with all that talent ahead of him? That's just my opinion. But there's just one more thing I want to hit on. Now, let's just say everything goes perfect and the Clippers win their first championship of their... Right?
Existence.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Let's just say it happens. Does John Wall make the Hall of Fame?
No.
Okay. Well, that's the end of the episode.
Not.
Like, what the hell?
I mean, he's one of my favorite players, but I mean, and I think he's closer than I think his people were calling Prime or Ja this year better than him. I think it's pretty close. I mean, Prime Wall is definitely better on defense, but
I mean, you also got to remember the team he was on.
He's a 5-time All-Star. He'd be a 5-time All-Star, 1-time NBA champion, 1-time All-Defense. Yeah, no.
All right. Well, the NBA is the easiest Hall of Fame to get into, so it's a maybe for me. I think the resurgence of John Wall, if he could play a few more years at a decent time, I would love to see him make the Hall of Fame, and also I'd love to see him get a ring. Because everyone talks about Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant with a real ring, these players that are ringless. And then there's always the great ones like John Stockton and others. But John Wall's never really mentioned in those lists, and I think he's about to be if he can have... I think everyone's going to freak out. If the Clippers somehow win a championship, first of all, the Clippers own the city of LA, and Twitter's never going to shut up, but... John Wall Hall of Fame, I just like to throw that in because Kenny Beecham brought it up a while ago, and I love talking about Kenny. So that's really all we got to talk about. Kofi, thank you for joining me, man. This was we were talking about it before, and would it be a good episode of the morning after? Everyone was saying, wait till Thursday, whatever. I think this is a good episode. I don't care what anybody says, and that's the great part about the morning after. It's not like I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. It is I upload when something important to me happens in the NBA or important to everybody, obviously. And this was one of them. Kyrie stayed, John Wall, Clippers. And we even got to talk about the Knicks, which is perfect. So, Kofi, if you want to end it saying anything, you're more than welcome to. All of Kofi's socials are down below, but Kofi, I'll leave it to you.
Appreciate you for having me on. Go Knicks. RJ Barrett is going to be an all-star this year.
If I had a dime for every time I heard that. That's all, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 2. If you missed episode 1, it's still there. And, that's all. Everybody, this was The Morning After.